Yeah, you are so welcome, you listener, to this recording today. I have invited Georgia Bazin from London. Welcome.
Hi, Cecilia. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And I'm happy that you had time for this today because you have been away for a while in United States.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
11 days of scorching sunshine.
It's been raining here all the week, so
It has
that's
here in
good
the
for you.
UK too.
But I had a lot of time to make these nice recordings and a lot of other stuff. So it's good to have a rainy weather sometimes.
It is most definitely. And the gardens look beautiful then.
Yeah, it does. And I had another topic in the beginning when I was asking you, but I changed that because I was reading a post you put on Facebook, and I just loved what you was written in that post, and it was about to be a mother and to be a parent, and what love, how love. Um, I don't know what to say, but it just it
You were
became
right.
quiet. But but to parenting with love, loving parenting,
Mm.
and how how that is important, and also that we do our best
Mm-hmm.
with how what we can see for ourselves, and sometimes we can't see that we we are not in the loving state, but we still do our best.
My son, actually, my eldest son, Oliver, who was the one who commented, you put a long response to my post, which, for your listeners' point of view, it was a post when I was in Colorado. It was a beautiful book on motherhood, full of lots of lovely, wise sayings about beautiful mothers and the ideal of what motherhood is, how we how it can be idolized, if you know what I mean. Hollywooded. The fact that everything looks pink and rosy. And if you're lucky, some people do have wonderful pink and rosy parenting. And I know some of them. I didn't have rosy parenting, either from my mother or my father. My mother was a narcissist bully. My father was an alcoholic. My genetic father just wanted to pay and never have anything to do with me. So that doesn't start you off in life as the best ways. But when I came to motherhood, and I came to motherhood early, I had my first son at 25, Oliver, who was the post that you read. So I was young. And all I know is something innate in me. Can't tell you that it was a choice, a conscious choice. I don't know. But something in me knew to parent differently. So I did. I'm not saying I parented perfectly. I'm sure I made beautiful messes all along the way. But I just knew to love them the best that I could. And I'm sure my mother loved me the best she could. But she just loved differently. She loved from her scars that she never looked at or explored or knew to look differently at. Whereas from a very young age, I've been exploring. I've been exploring me. I've been exploring this understanding of life, of energy. So whether it was that always gave me the opportunity to parent from a better place, maybe that was it, I don't know. But my eldest son recently said to me, we were on a holiday in Egypt, this was last year, and they experienced my mother's way of being herself affected them as well as a grandparent. So they understand my hurt because they experienced it as well. But we were sitting sunbathing, and he said, Mum, he said, it really strikes me we never say thank you to you for turning up as you do, for always being there, whether we were crying, being sick, wanting whatever. And he said, and I think there are so many kids that actually don't acknowledge that to parents. And of course I cried, because of course, who wouldn't? And it's very easy the way our human psychology works, which is negatively wired anyway, to get so involved in our own stories of ourselves, to miss the fact that we are loved, but we are loved in a different way. Because I don't know of a parent who doesn't, underneath everything, love their child. Especially as a mother, because we've birthed them, we've carried them, we've felt them in us. We've connected in a whole different way with that baby. That even under the scars, the thought, the illusions of what we are, I don't think there's anything like maternal love. It's just all the stuff on the surface that makes it look like it isn't.
I have got two children, and they are 24 and 26 now. And I have always felt that I have loved them very much. And even though I was in a bad shape in many years with myself, they have always told me that they have felt that I have cared for them and loved them very much. but I had so much negative feelings and thoughts about me that I couldn't, that I have a feeling that I wasn't a good mother, because I was always worried about how I looked, my body. I overate, and I felt very awful when I looked in the mirror. I didn't like myself, and I didn't like who I was and how what I have educated me to, and I wasn't good enough. And then I had so much with myself and my bad feelings that was the thing that I showed them. And they get worried.
Well, of course, because we parent from our scars. Everybody parents from their scars, from their learnings about themselves. But that still doesn't stop love being shown. Because yes, I get it. I've spent years. When I used to go and see my mother, she would lift my jumper up and she would squeeze whatever fat was over whatever trousers I was wearing and say, "You're going to lose that." And they saw this. And they saw the hurt, and they saw me going, "I've got to lose weight, I've got to lose weight." And my daughter had anorexia for a while and bulimia. So whether something that she passed to me through that, whether she experienced that with her mother, the fact that I was forever saying, "Well, I've got to go on a diet," whether my daughter picked something up from that, I will never know. But the only thing I do know is I was still doing the best I could with my scars. Same way you were.
But I could see before that I know I did my best, but I had this critical voice, and I think I heard it. I do heard it when I was little in my home, and that critical voice about me, the thing that I started to feel the feeling that I'm not good enough. It's something that I also could say to my children. And that's not something that I can feel ashamed about that, but it wasn't something that I wanted to do, because you want to lift up your children, and all you want to do is to love them, and I do. But it was something that I have learned from home, that the critical thing that you must have rules for your children, and you must eat this and do that, and so.
And who makes all that up?
It was something that was voices going on, so that you must learn your children to do like this, and so
But we inherit. Okay, so Have you ever noticed the words that come out of your mouth all of a sudden you go, oh my gosh, I sound just like my mother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot, but I do
So we learn like
stop myself.
parents.
I stop myself more and more. Sometimes it happened, but I think about it, and I really think about it now when I got a grandchild, because I don't want to. I want to end this circle.
Mm.
It's because I see it more clearly now what it does to when someone is eating something, or if someone is the way is going up, or I try not to I stop myself from saying those words that I was
Which
going to.
tells us, or tells me, we always have choice. And Sid Banks talked about the fact, go with the feeling. If you follow that feeling, you have free choice. At that point of free choice, of being a free mind, you can choose either path. But if you're not even aware that you have a choice, then by nature, we stick with habit. So the habit of our grandparents get passed to us, the habit of us gets passed to our children, and it goes on and on. If you don't know you have a choice, if you don't lift your head from habit, if you know no other way of being, then it perpetuates from generation to generation, which is why we see in society, if you look at family traits, it going on and on and on. But I do also think there is a point where this divine wisdom that we are, if we're even just curious, if we just take 1 second to question, will show us opportunities in every moment to see a different choice. And that I believe with my heart. But it takes bravery to lift your head out of habit, for anyone to, because it's not an easy path. The easy path is to stay in habit. No matter how uncomfortable it is, that is the easy path.
And also the thing that you tell that child, she is like that, she likes that, and she is good at singing and dancing or whatever, and that boy is good at that, and early in life you tell your children or your family that, but that's not something for you, you are not like that, and you cannot do that, you like to sit and read, you don't like to play football. So early on you put in people like boxes, and if you don't know that is not, that is just some thoughts that someone is telling you, or you're telling yourself, then you continue your life like that.
Totally. Because you're going around with like horse blinkers on.
Yeah.
You don't know that actually there's a whole load of other options.
So I really did that with myself, but also my children, because I didn't know. I couldn't see it clear that they can be whatever they like, and they can try, even if I don't think that this is possible for them. So I'm not the one who's going to tell them that this is not for you. They must try it by themselves.
Yeah.
So I go in that direction, and it changed. It changed the possibility to not being something you that I tell to. And I think we do that early on in school with education. We tell our children, no, you must be a lawyer, or you must be a teacher. That's best for you. And maybe the children don't feel like that, but they won't disappoint their parents, so they don't say anything.
As we never wanted to disappoint our parents, as we wanted to, so often we tell children, are told, well, you did this, so you made me sad. So they are, from a very young age, they believe that their actions cause upset to someone else, which of course you and I know can't be a thing, because every emotion is an inside job. You can't make me feel anything. I can't make you feel anything. It all arises from within. But as a child, when you are just a sponge, just an open sponge to everything, and you're told, well, you were naughty and that made me sad, it starts to look like every time a parent has a unhappy look or a disengaged look or a whatever look it may look like, it's that child's fault. So that pattern is starting so early to look at, well, I've got to please my parents so that they do never have that look on their face, because that was all down to me.
And the parents believe in this too. So the all energy moves you in that direction, that you are the problem. That's because of you. So that's so strongly, so you can't see it in another way.
Well, I mean, even if a child drops a fork on the table, off the table onto the floor, and a parent responds with a, oh, it looks like it's that child's fault. Because as a child, everything is about us. We know nothing else. So the fact that that parent looked cross, that a fork fell on the floor, it doesn't occur to the child that, well, maybe mummy or daddy just had a bad day and they were tired and it's been a long day and I've dropped the fork and they're just angry. There is no rationale like that at all. It just looks like I did an action, they got angry, their anger is my fault. I mean, it's actually really simple. Because our brain is wired to look for safe situations. So the safe situation would never be to knock my fork on the table, on the floor again. Because then that parent hasn't responded that way. But that comes as part of our survival instinct, which is innate, it's built into us. But in today's society, we're so far out of our survival instinct, because what do I need to do to survive? I can go shop at a supermarket, I can go buy clothes, I've got a roof over my head. So these very basic parts of us have just gone wild. They've been allowed to shoot off in all sorts of ways when we live in a society where we don't have to fight to survive. Is only how I see it.
These insecure feelings is very common. It's a lot of people who feels insecure, and when we are feeling insecure, the whole body is just coming in a tense.
Oh yeah.
And we don't know that it's the headache and the pain we feel in the body. So I had a lot of pain in my body because I felt insecure in my life. So I got all this tension, and then you feel like, oh, this can't be okay with me. I must be broken in some way because I feel all these feelings. So how can we go from feeling insecure, Georgia? How can we come from to parenting in a to get our children to feel more insecure?
I can't give you one answer because I don't know that I know the answer. I can point as how I see it. That if we understand that the only thing that makes us insecure is an idea, that is literally all it is. And I don't know about you, but I have ideas all the time. I have ideas about all sorts of stuff. So if one idea I know isn't real, what makes the other one real? So if the idea that I am secure, that's true, or I'm insecure and that does look real, they're both just an idea.
And then that's true for me, but I also feel that I'm deeply guided by my feelings, a deeper feeling that I know that no, when something comes more deeply and clear to me that no, I don't want to go here. I don't want to be here. This feels not good. Like toxic. Then I don't go there.
Then that's your wisdom speaking to you. But it's interesting from the point of view that you've been, again, looking at yourself. You've been exploring. You've known there's been something innate in you to search out what's your truth. And that's in all of us. And I think sometimes we have to get to our very lowest points our very lowest points. To listen to a voice other than the natter in our head. So it depends just whether you're willing to listen.
And have the courage to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm honest when I'm sharing how I react on things. Sometimes I still react on things insecure, but when I share about how I was insecure with a lot of stuff before, I knew. I think that's you call it vulnerable. Yeah, to be that and to put it on the table, that things can change.
Oh, in an
You
instant.
don't need to be in your habit or in your addiction or something. If you start to see things more deeply, and you are curious to see how it feels deeply, because I know when I know.
Yeah. Oh,
if I
yeah.
listen.
Oh, yes, totally and utterly. The problem is when we're in a shit show up here, it's the last place we look inside, because it's far easier to blame everyone out there. And taking responsibility for your own experience.
And I do know that this is hard and difficult, because I have been sitting with these horrible feelings a lot lately. And I know that I feel like, no, it's not me. It's not me. Oh. But I'm still sitting with it. And I have recovered from a very bad state of mind. And moving on with life. But it doesn't mean that I don't feel these horrible feelings. I still do a lot, but I don't blame people and go in action with people in the same way. I still do sometimes in my family, maybe, but
You're
not.
a human being, we all are.
Yeah, we are human
Yeah.
beings, but not like before. I take a step back and I try to just let it go through me and see what's coming after, when it's settled, maybe. Because I know I can't see things clear when I'm up to a feeling. I can't see it clear at all. It's just awful in all my head. And I just feel like, oh, I need to answer this and I have to do this and oh. But when you go through things in this direction every time, every time, you start to learn little by little that there is something with this, to take a step back.
I know I had one of my very first experiences of having fallen into, having found 3P and having spent a while in that, because it was after my mother's death, so I'd done a certain amount of healing, etc. And I had a real low, a real shit show going on in my head. And whereas in the past I would have picked up my phone and, you know, you do whatever on there, or you read a book, or you go to a podcast, or you phone someone up to go, blah, blah, blah. It was the first time that I really knew inside I had to just sit in the feeling. I had to not distract myself, because we don't like feeling bad. Because also we're told that feeling bad, there's something wrong with us. And it was about 3.5 weeks, I sat in it day after day after day. I couldn't even tell you what was going on in my head, because all I remember was the really physical feel of it. And it was so tempting to go and listen to something to fix this. But every time my head told me to go and do that, there was a deeper part of me going, no, just sit and wait. So I did. Felt like masochism, because it does. It feels like self-hurt, not sticking the plasters on. And I remember I had a specific moment. I was sitting out on my doorstep writing something. And I was writing a poem. And my tennis teacher came, so I went and had a tennis lesson. And I came back and I picked the rest of this poem up. And I went to start to carry on writing it. Instead of which I just put it down. I'm going to have a shower. And I walked into the shower still carrying this. And I turned the shower on. And I had a moment of epiphany that literally floored me. And it was probably 3 seconds. But I saw beyond myself. I disappeared. I saw life. And it was huge, and it was safe, and it was magnificent. And I was magnificent as part of it. And I literally am in the shower, I'm on my knees, I'm laughing and I'm crying and I'm sobbing. I look like a lunatic. That was the most beautiful moment. And I had to go through 3 years to see that 3 seconds again. Nothing. Nothing. And for whatever reason, it just showed me, if we sit within ourselves, there is always something to see in that feeling. It's gold. All that discomfort is gold if we're prepared to sit in it and wait it through. Do not stick plasters on it.
And for me, I have recognized that when I start to go in that low mood, and I started to get tense in my body, it started to hurt in my legs.
Mhm.
It had done that for the last couple of years, and but I recognize it's the same thing every time.
Mhm.
So I just know, oh, here we go. So
Well,
I don't go to any place with it to get help because and it hurting. But before I understood this and before I came across the 3 principles, I went to hospital with that hurting. I was staying 1 week at the hospital, and then I had some strong medicine that I was stopping to take. So I thought it was only the medicine that was going out from my body. But now I can see that my body does this when I am in a low mood, when I processing things that I don't like. And so I used to take some warm, you had a pillow, you can put it in the microwave. So I take this, and a lot of times I put it everywhere, and I make it calm in the sofa, and I just rest, and maybe take a couple of days to just calm down. And
well,
but I know
there are so many books. I mean, I have one here. It's called The Key to Self-Liberation: 1,000 Diseases and Their Psychological Origins. So every disease comes from mind. And there are so many books, like, what is it? The Body Pays the Price. Everything in here is a reflection of here, of what's going on up there. This is how we feel the energy of thought, through dis-ease. This is the most, our bodies is the most wonderful, amazing signage as to where we are, which is what you're saying about your legs.
and my breathing, because I can see, like I do like this. I get tense in my around my mouth, and I breathing very. I taking a lot of air, and I get very tense in my face, and then I can feel that I'm not breathing like naturally.
Mm.
And when I don't do that, I take my cheese and get my teeth gets very tense too. So that's also a reminder to take one breath in and just
Mm. Well, of
breathe.
course, our jaw is our, we have, so our main nervous system comes down the side of our jaw. One of the biggest muscles in our body, of course, is in our jaw here, is our mandibular. So if you think tension that can show up in your legs, makes total sense it shows up in the jaw, because also our jaw is our organ of speech. If we aren't getting rid of whatever's sitting here that emotionally we want to get rid of, yeah, our jaw does this, because we're resisting what wants to come out into the world. Oh, it's so clever.
Yeah, there is so much things that I didn't I knew it, but I didn't knew it. Because now I can just trust that and look to how does I breathe, and how do I feel, and when I see that, I know that, oh my God, I must just stay with it, because this is a low mood, and this is just a loop. I have to go through this, and I don't like it.
The time that I've spent with Steve Hardison, I was talking to a lady the other day. She's been on this beautiful retreat, come back on this wonderful high, and is desperate not to go back to how she was before. And I think so often the problem is we go away, we have these amazing experiences because we are immersed in the energy of looking towards wellness, looking towards healing, looking towards clearing out our old stuff, healing it. And then we come back to life, to our everyday, to our home, to our normality. And we do that again. And we forget, if we have lived so long in habit of thought, that we can go to these wonderful experiences, clear it out. But actually, unless we fill it and keep filling that space, which we have the most amazing imagination, and our mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what isn't. If we continue and continue and continue to empty that cup of what we don't need every day, empty it, fill it with something new. Because if you don't fill it with something new, the old crap comes back and fills it. Because we've been wired that way for so long.
But the most people are waiting for that cup to to fill it, or to get empty by itself, and it doesn't happen.
Doesn't.
But it's the opposite. We can say that we are pointing to the opposite. Try to do things that makes you feel more comfortable and joyful.
Well, we create. If I can create myself as crap, as insecure, as overweight, as incapable, if unloved, that same power I have to create myself as loved, capable, secure, awesome, because it's the same energy of thought.
It's just when you're having this low mood for a while, I can see with myself that I have to be kind and take step by step. So little better by better. Maybe I don't feel like woo directly, but when I go in that direction, if I am in a low mood and I like my husband said, he has been in the garden now the whole week because it has been raining and he didn't want to go anywhere. So we was at home. But yesterday I told him, can't we go to a trip somewhere? Because I think we need that, have some fun. Yeah, so we did that. And he said after, that was good. that you took me out to this, because I couldn't see that I need to take a break from the garden, from the work, but I needed it because I felt like I had headache, and I had hurt in my body because I have been carrying a lot of stuff in the garden, so I needed to go away. But he didn't feel like it, because he had his headache and was in a low mood. But when he came to that trip, it shifted.
Yeah, makes total sense. And I guess it's about knowing, it's about listening to that deeper part of yourself. As I knew to sit for 3.5 weeks in a really crap place, there are other times when I've known to reach out. Because there's just there's an inner knowing. That's all we're doing. Accessing that innate part of ourselves that if we listen to, will guide us to sit in crap or to actually go talk to someone.
And if we adults can take care of ourselves and know how to handle life with the knowing that we can make this on our own, or maybe we have to talk to someone sometimes, but then our children feels more safe.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because also you're showing them, they're learning that actually it's safe to ask for help, and that sometimes actually it's just safe to take your own responsibility for it. Because the more connected we are to ourselves, the calmer parenting we will be. And the more we will see and hear from our children, because we're less in here and more in here.
So maybe we can just be with our children when they are in a bad mood and they are yelling and crying and behave in a bad way. Maybe we can just be there for them and hold them.
Well, it's interesting because who's the judger that it's a bad way?
Yeah, it's the norm.
I mean, I know I've had a child in tantrum that I would have judged as bad, that now, I hope, don't know, because they're old enough not to have tantrums these days. I'm hoping I would realise that actually that is just their pain coming out. Just their frustration, their lostness, their whatever. And given a chance without me reacting to it, they will settle. They will find their balance, because that's available to all of us.
But there are behavior, like Bill Pettit used to say, that if you are knocking your head in the wall a couple of times, you need to tell them to stop.
Yeah, put a cushion in front of it. I mean, that's a really difficult thing. I mean, I know, I have a 25-year-old who is a bit lost at the moment, and trying to balance my parental thing of, well, actually, I need to give him a kick up the butt, but understand that he is resilient and will find his own way. it's a balance. And a balance I probably totally muck up sometimes. In fact, I'm sure I do. But I'll still keep trying that balance. And trusting that one day something will shift. It may be in something I say, it may be in something I don't say. But it is an interesting flow between our spiritual nature, knowing that his path is his path. And yet I have knowledge as a human being that can help. We all do. Big question.
Yeah, it is with it, because parents get afraid when their children behaves and you must fit in the society. That's the problem sometimes. And
and
yeah.
That's all hereditary, isn't it? Is it true? I don't know.
No. But what we know is that we need to be loving with each other.
Do you know that's all it comes down to? Continual forgiveness and self-forgiveness. And that really does allow a space for just more and more love to arise in us. Because if we're forgiving rather than judging, both ourselves and anyone else, but it starts with us, then we're clearing. The cup gets to be full of something else. And what fills it is a stable place to live from, a truth to live from.
And when we look deeply inside, within, things becomes more clear how to manage life, how to decide what to do or not to do. Because we don't need to accept or like everything. It comes clear to us where I supposed to be or to go.
It's always there.
And that's also to being in a loving state with me.
Yeah. All starts here. All starts here.
Yeah. So if I can be kind to myself and loving to myself, I be loving. Yeah. And Georgia, you need to go.
I do. I am going to see the osteopath before my dodgy hips, having sat on a plane for so long.
Thank you so much, Georgia.
Thank you for having me.
It was lovely to speak in this subject that many people are thinking about. Are they good enough? Are they manage it? Thank you so much.
Parenting's tough. Being a parent is tough. Having been parented is tough. And yet it's all beautiful.
Yes.
I love you.
I love you. Thank you.
My darling. Bye-bye.
Bye.